It's no surprise, but Ubisoft has completely destroyed their reputation as a AAA game developer. At this point, their entire business is cooked, and everything is coming crashing down around the suits in charge. Over the years, players have gotten fed up with the consistently buggy games from the company, and it's actually creating a terrible situation for Ubisoft as more and more people drop their big name titles like a sack of potatoes. People just aren't interested in being fed the same slop over and over again. And Ubisoft is now feeling the pain of their repetitive and flawed game design as they're being forced into more rounds of layoffs, which is just coming off the heels of layoffs earlier in the year. Also, following the same game formula, Ubisoft is riding heavily on their two biggest releases of the year being Star Wars Outlaws and Assassin's Creed Shadows, both of which are open world games and have become doomed to fail due to Ubisoft's shortcomings. The past year has been rough, and things are looking even more grim with the release of their first big title, Star Wars Outlaws. A game that was hailed as quadruple A gaming has been nothing but a massive flop with all the bugs and poorly designed AI. The gameplay has been laughable and mocked repeatedly since launch, with the comparison videos of previous games going viral on YouTube. But the trailers and initial reviews from game journalists just don't seem to reflect this sentiment at all. Big news outlets like IGN continue to cowgirl Ubisoft despite all the obvious evidence that players are throwing their fists out in anger. To make matters even worse, Ubisoft forced early access players to reset all of their game progress as they attempted to fix the literally game breaking bugs. So, on top of paying an extra $40 to get early access for a dog water game, players had to have all of that juicy progress that they paid the extra money for wiped from existence, like Thanos snapping his fingers. And Ubisoft's response to the obvious outrage from gamers who paid for that benefit was to give them a crappy in game Trailblazer trinket and 100 Ubisoft Connect units. Like, imagine being told you paid $40 for a premium version of the game just to receive this item. Yeah, what the actual fuck is this? And if you don't know what a trinket is in Star Wars Outlaws, it's just a cosmetic item that hangs off your speeder tied with a string. Ubisoft is so embarrassed by this massive failure that they even blocked comments from the official launch gameplay trailer. I mean, the proof is obvious. This game was getting flamed before the comments got disabled. This is just ridiculous, and I can't believe that Ubisoft would actually put a dumpster fire like this out. Imagine slapping your logo on something this bad and shipping it out to your audience. Did they really think that gamers would eat this up because they threw Star Wars on the title? And the blatant attempts to hide criticism for the game is just outrageous. To put things into perspective, here are a few of the absolute worst clips of the gameplay. Yeah, she just full on face planted this guard into oblivion. And this one, she just gives him the old left hook, like, yeah, buddy, your helmet isn't protecting you from these hands today. And if you thought those takedowns were terrible, this next clip of the AI system is even worse.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
The AI don't respond to you throwing a grenade at them. These guys fear no man. Nothing will stop them from staring at their table of alien squid tentacles. And these AI don't even notice when you crash right into them. They just keep running in circles and cause you to fall under the map if you crash into them too many times. And here's some of the comments on those videos. Ubisoft never ceases to impress us with their quadruple ass games. The protagonist has hands of steel, knocking out full grown men through a combat helmet. Quadruple A is what you say when you realize what you just bought. This is atrocious, and the audacity of Ubisoft to charge extra for early access for this is just wild. Also, forcing all of those early access players to reset their progress in the name of fixing their game breaking bugs is a cherry on top, and of course, their stock price would reflect this after the official release of the game. This seems to paint the picture that Ubisoft's shortcomings with the game and their stock stagnating is one of the many reasons for the new layoffs coming in. And to make the situation even worse, it looks like Assassin's Creed Shadows is following closely in the footsteps of Outlaws. People seem to have little faith in the game's success as reports are coming in that the entire game is based on a fraudulent story of an African samurai named Yasuke. That's right, Ubisoft wanted to be extremely woke by casting the main character of their next big game as a minority in a Japanese country, but little did they know that the historian they brought in was lying about the history of their main character Yasuke. Thomas Lockley is the man behind the story of Yasuke and was brought in to assist Ubisoft in creating the new Assassin's Creed story. But once a little background research into the story was done, people began to realize that the story of Yasuke was greatly sensationalized and that the real Yasuke had never become a samurai for Oda Nobunaga, as Lockley had been saying for over a decade. It had been discovered that the author had been editing Wikipedia pages to coincide with his books since the early 2010s. The guy was basically writing and editing articles all over the website and then listing his own books as reference for the deceptively inaccurate information. This has caused controversy and backlash for Ubisoft, as it appears that most of the game will be historically inaccurate and more than likely will pander to the woke crowd. I for sure don't think Ubisoft is doing any real research into their story. Like, seriously, they brought in a pseudo historian who's been lying and actively upholding those lies for over a decade just to sell his books. This seems like a ridiculous oversight from a company that is trying to go all in on a game that will be full of inaccuracies. It's looking to be a devastating next few weeks for Ubisoft if they don't figure out something fast to get people interested in their games. The years of shoveling the same crap over and over again are over for the company, but of course they're desperately doing whatever they can to hold on to that same formula. Hopefully soon we'll get some new information regarding the sales numbers of Star Wars Outlaws that will provide insight into the future of Ubisoft as well as the future of Assassin's Creed Shadows. Alright, well that's it for today's video. If you guys have any opinions on the topics discussed, please leave them in the comments below. I really appreciate you for making it to the end of the video, and as always, have a good one.